No, get out of here.
That's
That's okay. That's okay.
Good afternoon. This is Deb Amlen for the New York Times, and welcome back to Heroes, Comedy Heroes.
Yeah.
Here's how magicians solve
Wow.
That's what we're
That's
doing.
one of those, Elaine.
Stay over. We are going to be feeding Sam sugar and see how much it actually takes for him to lose his ability to solve. Right? This is science. We're doing this for science, Sam. Good afternoon. This is Deb Amlen for the New York Times, and welcome back to Crosswords Live. It's a beautiful day for a crossword and the beginning of baseball season to the extent that it's actually happening. Let's play two. I want to welcome back my solving buddy, Sam Ezersky. How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing all right. My baseball team doesn't get to play today, so the
Oh.
weather's clearly not nice enough. But yeah, I'll hang in there for the crossword part. That's just
All right,
I'm
but
not salty.
you have your Baltimore shirt on.
Go Orioles.
Yeah, there you go.
Do the funky.
Today's puzzle is a very special puzzle. I mean, remember that it is April 1st. That's all I'm going to tell you. And this puzzle is by some guy named Sam Ezersky. Sam, how many puzzles has Sam had in the New York Times?
Oh gosh, I don't actually have the expert info profile up to look up, but let me see. I'll do this off the top of my head. I think this is 43.
Wow.
So going strong.
But
Having fun. Grateful.
You got in there early, right? You had
did.
your first puzzle published when you were 17, I think?
It was right before a senior year of high school. I was fortunate to be mentored. Note to all aspiring constructors, there's no shame. In fact, you should go find a mentor to show you the ropes with crossword construction. Check out those Facebook pages like the Crossword Puzzle Collaboration Directory.
That's right.
My first
And there's a
puzzle was
Discord
published.
server too.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
My first puzzle was published with a mentor, and I mean, look where I am now.
You want to shout him out?
What's that? Yeah, shout out to Vic Fleming. Judge Vic is one of the best in the biz. So
He really
yeah.
is. What a sweet man. Anyway, I thought I'd start off today's stream by saying, what the heck, Sam?
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I definitely wanted to make. It'd been a while since I made a Devilish Thursday idea. The fun fact is that we weren't sure if we were absolutely going to run this puzzle for April Fools. There's a certain level of foolsiness. I know there are some people that thought, like, is this really a fool's puzzle or is this just a hard Thursday? But I'll let you all find out. I mean, the answer to the what the heck is I'm having fun here, and I hope you are too. So
Absolutely. I know I had fun. We thank you to Isaac Arano, our producer, for posting the link to the Crossword Puzzle Collaboration Directory. If you're on Facebook and you're thinking of making a crossword puzzle, please do check it out. Ask lots of questions. Ask to be hooked up with a mentor because the learning curve is much quicker that way.
Exactly.
I want to say steeper. That's right. It's steep, but it goes a lot quicker if you have someone who can teach you the ropes because there's so many little rules.
Push you up.
That's right. To give you a leg up, basically. Also, at the end of every wordplay column, and hello to everybody who's coming in and saying hello. We're so glad you could come and solve with us today. At the end of every wordplay column, we have a link now to where you can submit those puzzles if you do feel that they are you would like to see them run in the Times. And a link to our series on how to make a crossword puzzle. Yeah. So check that out in every daily wordplay column. And I think it's time to get into this puzzle. I am not going to say a word about the trick to this puzzle. I'm going to let our viewers figure it out for themselves.
I'd rather you explain it than me, though. That's kind of awkward.
Well, I'm going to admit something right off the bat. A lot of people think, oh, Deb solves all the puzzles. Deb is a really good solver. And I like to think that I am. But every once in a while, and you know this, Sam, I do need to ask for I'm not going to say help. I'm going to say clarification.
No, I was going to say I was going to clarify clarification there because it's okay to ask for clarification. It's okay to come to the comment section. Yeah?
It is. I got some of the theme, and I just needed, like we said, a leg up to help me with the rest of it. And I have to say, it was brilliant. It was really, really, really cool. Everybody, again, hello to everybody who's joining us. Kay Heldman said, nice interview on Couple of Geniuses, Sam. Sam
Thank
was
you for that.
interviewed on a podcast called Couple of Geniuses. And I tell you, the place I started in this was at 6 Across with Dev Patel of Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire. There we go. So you have your way in. You have, let's take away the byline of the puzzle, the trick to this puzzle. No matter what puzzle you're solving, you got to find a way in, right? And you're always going to have your gimmies somewhere. So
the gimmies are like the key to a door. If you don't have your keys, you're not getting through that door, but there is always a key under the mat in every crossword puzzle. If you find it, whether it's the fact that I happen to be almost insanely expert on pop culture, or and pretty much nothing else, or if you're a sports fan and you know the sports clues, read through the list, find out what you know, get that in the puzzle right away. Similarly, at 9 Across, I knew the film in which Will Ferrell wears yellow lights was Elf.
Where's yellow lights? Is he at a traffic intersection?
Yes. Sorry. No, did I say lights? I meant yellow tights.
I'm poking fun before I take on the diabolical role as you're actually cracking.
Yeah.
This is gentle.
We may do a slowly I turn on this one.
So yes, Elf is the film in which Will Ferrell wears yellow tights. A nice little bit of imagery for you.
Absolutely. Bruce Giordano says 8 down is veal, which I loved this clue. Was this your clue?
This is my clue. The vast majority of these clues are mine.
That is such a great pun. I honestly thought the M in Parm was a typo.
That was the goal.
Absolutely. I'm sure you were filling that out going double fold for that. Yep.
Right. There you go. Exactly. So yeah, Parm, of course, is veal. There you have it.
That's right.
On my end, when I like pro tip to constructors out there, just in terms of just thinking about how you clue puzzles, what I really want you as the solver to do is I just want to show you how much fun you can have with words and idiomatic phrases, rethinking of them in certain ways. I guess in this particular puzzle, I did want to stump you a little bit, but this is a nice case of just like, oh, here's some dumb pun. You change par for the course for parm for the course. And this is really stupid, but maybe you'll crack a smile because I did. So here's hoping, I guess. Here's
Kay Heldman says 13 Across, his eye is hot. Just got that with the veal.
There you go. Specs can be provided for them. A different way to think about specs, right?
It's not specifications. They're eye specs, eyeglasses.
Exactly.
Another bit of wordplay. Marilyn Johnson is with us, and she says 9 down is Elmo.
9 down is Elmo, friend of Cookie Monster. We have the E there. Well done.
Right. And she also says 11 down is froze.
Some natural hairstyles informally are froze.
Look at us. We talk about keys, man. We're in.
We're through the we're through the front door, and we didn't even have to buzz in to the
we didn't, but or anything. I will say that we're in, but we have not gotten to Cerebus yet. We have not gotten to the 3-headed dog.
We're getting there. Actually, it is 4 heads in this puzzle.
Right. Well, let's keep going then. We have 18 Across, so funny. And those bracketed clues are things that might not necessarily be verbal, but you want something that is a synonym for so funny.
Lamau, there you go. To think that once upon a time, for multiple, not only would this not have appeared in puzzles before, because texting abbreviations are kind of new to crosswords on the whole, but this is
but it's got a naughty word in it, and
I was going to say the gray lady's letting down her hair a little bit here.
Yeah.
Just taking chances. Meanwhile, we did need to clue this word as the dice roll.
Right.
This was not my original clue.
Oh, God.
That's all.
I'm sure. I think I did those 2 in a row, crap and LMAO, and I was thinking, what the heck is going on here?
Those who know me well knew that I chuckled to myself when I found that, found out that worked, and that, I didn't, I made a joke in my constructor notes on wordplay that I hope you're feeling a combination of saying this aloud and saying this aloud as you're doing or once you've done the puzzle. So no spoilers.
Valeria Silvestri and Marilyn Johnson agree with you on LMAO, which is good, and Todd Booth, considering you made the puzzle.
Good.
And Laura Brown says 15 across is slur.
15 across is slur. Talk like a tippler is slur.
To slur your words. And
slur
in
your
fact,
words.
there's only one, well, I think there's only one real answer to 10 down, because with that pattern of letters and occasion for a roast, it's got to be luau.
It's got to be a luau. And Deb, you make a good point. Like, I'd say one way that I got, like, in and around just constructing puzzles, one way that I got much better as a solver was really looking at those letter patterns aside from the clues. And even if, this clue sounds kind of vaguish for a Thursday, you say, okay, LUA blank. That looks like it's got to be luau. That's how you can connect it to roast. It's a good way of thinking.
I've been tricked by that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I very often assumed that, and you know what happens when you assume. I've assumed that a word was one thing and it was really the other, but in that case, I was pretty confident.
There you go. Well, you were correct. I can tell you right now. So.
Thank you. That was one thing I was correct on in this puzzle. And Fogarty is with us, and he says this puzzle is an absolute banger. Sam loved it.
Hello to N. Fogarty, a dear friend in the puzzle world. I hope you're not biased because we're tight. I hope you enjoyed the puzzle. But thank you. Always appreciate it.
Bruce, let's get back to solving. Bruce Giordano says 15 down is slime.
Slime is gunk.
Whoops. And Juan Guzman is with us and says 14 down is spiral.
Slime and spiral, perfectly thrown football.
Spiral throw. Yeah.
Exactly. I like words like slime and spiral when making a puzzle, and a word list isn't going to tell you that they're particularly interesting, but you just look at these words and you're just like, these are fun words. You can come up with some fun, fresh cluing angles that,
I was just going to say, they must be so, they're fairly normal words, fairly regularly used words, but there are so many different ways to clue them.
That's one of my biggest tips to whether you're a budding constructor or even an experienced constructor thinking about the best fills for your puzzle is sometimes, step outside of the word list and just look at those words and say, are these fun words? Can we make fun clues for them? It really will go a long way because we want to think about the clues just as much as the grid. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's fill that one in.
Okay, there we go. Losing dice roll. We're just talking about a game of clues here. That's all. Nothing to it, right?
Absolutely. The literary character, I know her well, who says, I will be by myself to Mr. Rochester is Jane Eyre.
Is Jane Eyre. And you know what? If you just didn't happen to remember that cherry-picked quote, you have EYR blank. And that one, other than I believe there's actually an animal called an Ira, that's EYRA, but we're not going to use that in crosswords anytime soon.
Yeah,
it's Jane Eyre.
That's kind of obscure even by our standards.
Yeah, even by our standards.
Right. Jean Maglotti is with us and says, hi, Jean, says 31 down is orange.
Let's go. Nice to hear from you, Jeannie.
Yep. Like Tennessee Avenue and New York Avenue.
On a Monopoly board. This was admittedly, hey, if you have the chance to clue your own puzzle, you tend to put your own voice into it and make references that hit home for you and hopefully for others. I'm a big Monopoly player. I mean, to those of you that actually listen to the Couple of Geniuses podcast episode with me, I made that, I'm unabashedly clear. Yes, and these are the best Monopoly properties in the game statistically. So go for the oranges. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll have to talk about that more off camera because I could always use some tips. Kay Heldman says 16 across took me some crossers, but might be a gimme for others. Amico. And that's a really good point. Everybody has their own wheelhouses.
Exactly.
And that's okay. There are things that I need all the help I can get on, but other people will say, well, I found that really easy. That's okay. We all have different brains. We all come from different places with different experiences, as long as you can find something that works for you.
I mean, in addition to, just the sheer elegance of all over interlock of across and down answers and crosswords is that, you're always going to have a bit of help, hopefully, with a crossing answer should you need it. Our goal is to not let like two crazy proper nouns cross where you can't infer the letter. So if you didn't know that, you might have gotten that through crossings. And if you threw it in as a gimme, that's awesome. Hopefully it'll help you with some of the short stuff.
All right. Well, so far we have not run into a theme yet, Sam.
Where do the theme answers usually show up in a puzzle, though, Deb? Like, where can we look?
Well, on Thursdays, they can be anywhere, Sam. I am never going to assume that they're in any particular place, but most of the time they're in the long answers, usually the long acrosses, although they can be long downs as well.
Like something delicious? Well, no, this is just, it's just 6 across without. And that's like some normal looking, usually, you just like, that's a preposition.
Right.
The way you're supposed to read this is you tack it on to the end of the answer for it to make sense. So
that's a crossword convention you talk about all the time.
yeah, but I mean, here it's just saying Dev Patel without, and this is going to get you something that looks like delicious. I don't know.
Well,
something might be afoot.
We'll have to come back to that. Maybe we can get some more of the crossers. What do you think?
What's this 25 across? And also, like, feel free to just chime in with any guesses. But I figure we got to it at the 3 letters here.
I happen to know this because my older child is a Ram, an Aries.
And so you're a Taurus.
And I happen to be a Taurus.
And I'm a Gemini, right after both.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Marilyn Johnson says 6 down is decry.
Decry. Publicly criticizes decry. Nice one.
Yeah.
Hope that we have 3 out of the 5 letters.
Absolutely. And we know it's not delicious, Sam, because we've got that R there.
Is this religious? I mean, I know. I should
well, let's try 21 down.
Let's try 21 down. Let's think back to some prior elections. Libertarian Politico Johnson.
I remember him. That's Gary.
That's Gary Johnson. Indeed. So it's religious.
Religious.
6 across without.
We have a lot of people agreeing on decry. I mean, if you add out, you can dev out, you can develop software till the
is that what to everybody on the Times Games team, we should just have like a block where we just have
a dev out
day here on the job.
Dev out as much as you want to.
That's a total code blitz.
Unless wait a second.
What's going on?
Wait a second. Just hold up here. So if you take the word dev and you say without and you have dev out, that makes the word devout.
But Deb, that's not how these conventions work. Like the out is supposed to follow the answer. Like this is going to be something religious, right? Like,
but if you're devout, you're religious. To a certain extent.
I suppose you're onto something. I'll let the synapses continue to fire.
Okay. All right. A couple of people, Valeria Silvestri and C. Butko, have got in it. Laura Brown says, if you want to jump around, Laura Brown says 28 across is scared of.
Fearing is scared of. Nice one.
Nice.
Real estate. What else do we have?
Donna Johnson Wooden says 24 across is muy.
Is muy interesante.
There you go. Well said. We do have a lot of people whose heads are exploding.
Oh boy, it's
early yet. It's early going.
Just be sure to save some of the brain power through the other 3/4 of this puzzle.
You know what? Let's hold that as a place marker. If we have devout, because honestly, the themes are all different today, being that it's April 1. So let's put in very religious, because a lot of people have gotten that.
Indeed, you are not supposed to read this as, this answer, you have to put out next to it. That's what normal crossword conventions do. This is twisting a normal crossword convention and saying, nope, it's just 6 across this answer, Dev. Without, it's just saying, hey, make the word devout. That's a rough synonym for very religious.
Yeah. If I typed very religious in as a theme answer, I would think that was kind of odd for a theme answer. It sounds more like a clue.
That was part of the goal with this first one in particular, just to let you know that you're onto something. But we can always check our crossers too. I mean, this YU blank blank circular dwelling.
Funny you should bring that up. A lot of people in the answers see Butko, and let's see, Kay Heldman and Laura Brown agrees on this, that 20 down is yurt.
Is yurt. Nice one.
Live in a yurt. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
You're like glamping, maybe.
Yeah, glamping. As long as it has, all my stuff in it. Vikram Baum is back and says, great to join in today. Hi, Vikram. Nice
Hi,
to have
Vikram.
you
Welcome
here.
back.
Laura Brown says 3 down is go overseas. That's a really crunchy answer, Sam.
Nice one. Nice one. It looks, the first 6 letters look like they're going to rhyme with Hoover, but nope, it's go overseas. Well done with that one. Impressive.
Right. Kay Hellman says Oregonians love yurts. That's great. Maybe I need to move to Oregon. Bruce Giordano says 4 down is once.
It's once. Perry Mason only lost the case once. This was not my clue, but that's okay.
No, and in fact, we did have an interesting debate in the wordplay comments about whether or not that's actually true.
Oh, this like thrice rather than once?
Yeah, Perry Mason was before my time, so I don't really know that for a fact, but it made for an interesting discussion. Valeria Silvestri says, I'm enjoying this puzzle eating a piece of Parmigiano Reggiano with artisanal bread. Yum. Okay, now I'm drooling. I think
she said yum. That's the answer to 2 down.
Well, it's yes, but I think it goes back to the Parm clue.
Indeed. Parm for the course. That is above that is way better than par for the course.
Absolutely. Vikram Baum says 5 down is doorman, which was a very good guess.
That makes no sense.
Hard clue.
That makes no sense. How does that make any sense?
Well, you can say quite a job, you have to admit, if something is hard or if someone's done a good job, but I think the clue here is to focus on the word admit. If you're not admitting something that you haven't realized before. You are literally admitting a person. And the job where you admit people is a doorman.
Indeed. We have quite a job. You have to.
Quite evil, Sam.
that I have to say that was my personal favorite clue of the puzzle.
It was. In fact, that was the headline for my column today, because I liked it so much.
No, I saw. Again, this is just a matter of as the constructor, when you're cluing your puzzles, just kick back. Think doorman. What can I do with doorman? Maybe something with admit. Can I build some lexical phrase off that to really misdirect you? These are the fun. Just kick back in the chair and think of it. You don't need a Google search to come up with a clue for this one.
I mean, it has to be a very well-known phrase, though. It can't just be something you've made up. But quite a job, you have to admit, is something that would be very much in language.
They tend to make for the best clues that way. Exactly.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. My God, Paul is cool 1927 says.
My God, this felt apt for 1 across in this puzzle. I have to say.
Really.
It was intentional. And then we've got good in Genoa, Valeria's Parm. Crossing firm requirement maybe with a little misdirect on.
Oh, well, that one I think is MBA, and that gets us buono, as David Coel says. Connor Magyers is skipping down to 23 down.
Let's do this. Where I-5 meets I-710. All right, this is ridiculous.
Right.
I'll full on admit.
Maybe Connor lives on the West Coast, but he says it's East LA.
It is East LA. Well done. I mean, it's so hard to parse in a grid. Yeah. I think the reason why we were fine making this clue as vague as it was is because this just shows up in so many puzzles. We're kind of expecting our Thursday solvers to latch onto this phrase with a few letters. I mean, look at all those friendly letters.
Right.
So.
And that's the other point, is it is Thursday. You're not going to see a Monday level straight from A to B kind of clue.
Exactly. Or a part of SoCal where, Dodger Stadium is or is close to.
Absolutely. Now here's one. These are the kinds of answers I don't always enjoy seeing in clues at 36 across.
Yeah, these are This is not a great answer.
But you know what? There were so few of these in your puzzle, Sam. I'm willing to give you a pass. Fair. The airplane whose name is also a vitamin is B10.
Is B10. Ah, yes. Our favorite airplanes, our favorite vitamins. Hey, at least it's inferable. You've got
B vitamins. Yeah. Todd Booth said spell check is killing me here.
Indeed. Especially my spell check came on with Parm for the course.
You're right, and you should see what happens when I try to write my column. By the way, this is a pro tip. If you ever want to see a spell check program collapse in like a sobbing heap of like internety tears, put a quote from the Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll in there. It can't handle it at
Oh,
all.
those slithy tove.
There you go.
Um,
Todd Booth says 22 across is C, S-E-E.
Is C what the Cyclops couldn't do after Odysseus tricked him? I don't know. We haven't done this clue for C before, so
No, and it's
line it in
very
as one.
fresh. And he only had the one good eye.
You only had the one good eye. With my one eye.
So funny. Well, being that it's April Fool's Day, I'm gonna go with har har.
Yeah, this I was dreaming for this answer, and this answer is your reaction. It was probably more along the lines of this, but
that's right.
Can't win.
Bruce Giordano agrees. Vikram Baum says 22 down is Shibop.
Is Shibop?
That was a great song.
And then a fun one to say aloud. I mean, again, like this is just one way to get cute for a girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. Way to say hey in Sao Tome.
Hola.
Hola.
Yep.
Boom.
We have a lot of Shibop fans in the comments. Okay, here's one. What may come home to roost?
Oh yeah.
A hen. That's got to be a hen.
Yep.
But I love how the clue takes advantage of a common idiom.
Mm-hmm.
But means something totally different. That misdirection, it's this, I get the same joy out of it. Some people don't like being fooled, but I do in this case, and I'll tell you why. I get the same joy out of it that I get when I see a magic trick that really wows me. To me, it's that same shot of whatever hormone gives you pleasure. It's not serotonin, it's something else.
Dopamine?
Dopamine. It's that dopamine shot of like, wow, that's so cool.
I'm tucking that one away, Deb. I really like that analogy. We're trying to make little magic tricks here and there.
I could just see you
was a heady one. But...
Well, I could just see you sitting at your desk pulling rabbits out of hats,
more or less.
Right, more or less. Anthony Yost agrees that 27 down is hen. Bruce Giordano says 44 across is passed by.
Exactly. Now, past tense here, overlooked, and way to parse that it's a multi-word phrase here is passed by, overlooked. I had snubbed at first. I guess this is clear. All right. So I just wanted to hop to here at 33 across.
I'm glad
Things are starting to get weird.
Well, yeah, they are. Vikram Baum has it. He says the word is essentially.
Okay, so let's put. I mean, it has to be again like just like you look.
How did he get that?
Well,
I mean, I know the word elf is lit up. It's highlighted here.
Because it's a cross-reference, but these aren't individual letters that precede the word elf. E-S-S, unless you're supposed to say these words aloud to a song, like these letters aloud to a song like YMCA. I'm really.
And the instruction, the clue says initials before 9 across.
Yeah. And again, that's another common convention. Like you see clues all the time, like inits before this and it's after this. So like, I mean, it doesn't look like anything here, but it looks like we just used the wrong clue.
Great. We have a lot of experts watching today.
Ooh, what do all the experts say?
Somebody sent the ringers. We have Tyler James Young and I think C. Butko who are saying that INITS. Can we go back to?
Yes.
Yeah. INITS is normally an abbreviation for initials. But I don't think, even if we were asking for initials, you wouldn't abbreviate the abbreviation if something asking for an abbreviation. So that's a trick, isn't it, Sam?
It is a trick. And you know what? Actually, we'll talk about this once we connect with the answer. But there was a lot of debate over this pesky little period right here in the clue.
Oh yeah.
I think why is that there?
I'm on team period. I think it should be there because otherwise it would look odd. But what really is going on here is we're not looking for initials.
We're not even looking at that abbreviation. That is a fake abbreviation.
It's a fake out. And what we're really looking is for the letters INITS to put before 9 across, which is elf. So what we really have, if you parse it correctly, is in itself, which is
INITSELF. In
which
itself.
is a
Just got to add space
synonym.
elsewhere.
It's a synonym for essentially, isn't it, Sam?
So my dictionaries have told me while I was constructing this puzzle.
Right, right. That one, that's where my mind started to boil down and like flow out my ears.
Well, we're halfway done.
Oh
We
boy.
got the two easy
I'll tell
ones
you,
out of the way.
let's keep going.
Let's do a palate
David,
cleanser here.
I'm sorry, where are we going? Anthony Yo says 34 down is IMDb,
Oh, let's do
International
that.
Movie Database.
With Oscars recaps, indeed, and those
That's
letters
right.
certainly help us. I was gonna say a nice palate cleanser here with this hard puzzle is sometimes you just look at an easy clue even for a Thursday. You say pop
Oh,
star
you
Grande
need that
to
to cool
fans.
down the brain.
We need
Yeah.
to cool down the brain, and that's gonna be Ari.
Ari,
Shout out
for
to Ari.
Ariana.
So what? Where
The
to?
let's see, what else do we have here? Anthony Yo and C. Butko say that 30 down is David Lynch.
Is David Lynch indeed the filmmaker who co-created Twin Peaks? This is a debut for the New York Times Crossword. I always found
Yes,
that a
and
little
Kay
cool.
Heldman. Let's see. Connor Magyar is very close at 37 across. He
Ooh.
says the answer is actually the start of the third millennium is actually MMI, and argument on whether it starts on 0 or 1 is ready to happen in 3, 2, 1. But you know what? In this puzzle, it's MMI.
In this puzzle, it's MMI. Fortunately, if we're arguing about whether it's 2000 or 2001, 2000 is just MM. And look, I've given this puzzle, I've peppered this puzzle with tricks. Leaving a square blank here is not one of the tricks I have planned. So if that happened to you, let's talk and restore your streak because that is unintentional.
Right. Vikram Baum says 29 down is Cleo.
Is Cleo sister of? Okay, I learned this. It's Calliope. You don't want to know how I said it before.
That's okay.
My original clue actually highlighted that whose letters are found across the letters of Calliope because there's CLIO. But hey, that was a bit too much. So
that's okay, and it's really nice to see it not clued to the advertising award. A lot of people's minds are blowing over essentially and in itself. Marilyn Johnson says, thanks for that explanation of 33 across. Of course, Marilyn, that's what we're here for. That's the whole thing behind Crosswords Live and Wordplay is we are here to help you solve and to help you know that this is not, some of these are really tough, but they are not insurmountable. Anyone can learn to do a New York Times crossword puzzle.
Also, like some of these constructors need to chill. Like not every, like this is just crazy. We don't want too many people.
Some of these crazy constructors and their gimmicks, Sam.
I mean, you don't want people just completely not understanding the puzzle. So like,
right.
The constructor that made this puzzle, if there were people that were just completely at sea, like, shame on that person.
I think you should apologize. I really do.
I'll talk to this person.
Okay. I have to tell you, I loved this entry at 28 down. Something that is such a you word. It really is.
I mean, well, for multiple respects here.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. But it's definitely your voice. Something that might be made with cold cuts from the fridge is a Sammy.
You know what?
Sandwich.
I gotta give a shout out. Is a Sammy for a sandwich, and I gotta give a shout out to the shorts man for that one because that's his clue. I came up with something easier, and he wanted to toughen it up and come up with the cold cuts from the fridge angle. We actually workshop this one together because we were waffling back and forth. But yeah, Will, like these days more than ever, we want to preserve the constructor voice. So I was thrilled to have Will actually kind of crafted that one for me.
Oh wow, sorry about that, Will. I think it was an excellent clue. Let's see.
Where to? Well, what's this here? Just to get a glimpse of 40 across.
In slang. Oh boy. Okay. This is where I started to need help. No, I had it, but I wasn't sure why I had it. And I think that was a very common experience today is people finished the puzzle. They just weren't sure why.
Well, I don't understand the problem here though. Like what's 2000, like this is cross-referencing here, like what's 2001 in slang? Again, that's another normal crossword convention. Like
how do you slang a year? How do you slang a Roman numeral? You don't.
The beginning of the aughts. I don't know.
Mhm. Right. No, I think that what we need is a slangy synonym for 40 across. And if we follow this clue to the letter, pun intended, what we're actually being asked to do is take 37 across, which is MMI, put it inside the word slang, because it says in slang. And if you put it in there, what you actually get is slamming, which is slangy for bad mouthing.
Boom. Or the other way around. I don't know which one's more slangy. Yeah. Well, let's just take a few seconds to let that one sink in, because it really, it feels like each one of these is like, one of the Hercule, however you say it, tasks or labors here. There are just 4 of them. I mean, we're just getting harder and harder here.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
Yeah, MMI. You have to literally, this is not in slang. What's slang for MMI? This is MMI in the letters of SLA and G. Put it right between the A and the N to get SLA, MMI, NG. So that is actually your clue. Your clue, this is a fake clue. It's not 37 across in slang. Your
Right.
clue is slamming, and the answer is bad mouthing.
Exactly.
So, there you go. Yeah, it feels weird to explain my own puzzle, but it seems like it was causing confusion. So
yeah, Vikram Baum brings up a really good point. It sounds like a cryptic crossword where in is an indicator that you would be putting MMI in the word slang.
exactly.
And that's a very popular kind of clue in cryptic crosswords.
Yeah, you gotta really, really think literally around these cluing conventions.
That's
sound
it.
normal. And that was the whole point of making this foolsy puzzle for you.
Absolutely. I warned people today. I said, follow the instructions in the clues. Don't deviate. Don't overthink it. Just do it.
Exactly.
Valeria Silvestri agrees on slamming and says, I have no idea what it means, but I understood. It's probably not. I don't know if there's a slangy term for bad mouthing in Italian, Valeria, but that's how we say it in the U.S.
I can only think of other slang terms like trash talking, dissing, bad mouth.
But we don't know if it translates to other languages or other cultures. People's minds are blowing still. There's lots of exclamation marks. Bruce Giordano says, wow, great puzzle. Laura Brown says, LOL, I was never going to get that one on my own. Don't feel bad, Laura.
We're not done yet. You're more than welcome to change your mind after the last one.
This is the point in my column today where I told people, it's okay if you want to shake your fist at the sky and scream, Ezersky!
That's just fine. I love that, you guys.
I know.
That's why I made it Tough Thursday. That stuff's so fun.
Yeah.
Let it fly.
Where else should we go? So, all right, so we're solving top down here. Where should we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, what's blank loose? It's kind of sort of vague, except we have Ellie blanks. Let's just let loose.
Yeah, you let loose to clue this thing.
I did. I really let loose. I relaxed, slumped on the couch.
Both
Multiple sessions of this. I love obsessing over every last answer. Really, there's a lot of heart and soul put into this one.
You and Will.
Yeah.
Is 32 down have ants in one's pants? I think has to be fidget, which I'm doing right now.
Indeed. As you're approaching the end of the puzzle, going, oh no, am I ever going to finish this?
Valeria says, I'll check on Urban Dictionary, but I suspect it has to do with swear words. It's not actually swear words, Valeria. Bad mouthing just means that you're talking badly about somebody. You're gossiping or you're putting them down.
It could encompass swear words, though.
It could. Jean Maglotti says 43 down is tonight.
Tonight. Excellent, Jeannie. Tony and Maria duet in West Side Story is, different, fresh angle for tonight. Hadn't seen it before,
I love that. I love the freshness of these clues.
Thank you.
By the way, I just want to shout Jean and Sam out. Jean Maglotti is a copy editor at Smithsonian Magazine, and Sam does a monthly puzzle for Smithsonian Magazine. So if you are a subscriber, please try it. And even if you're not, think about subscribing. Lots of really interesting articles, and you have that puzzle by Sam in each
It's
issue.
exactly, and the puzzles are there's there's smaller grids than a daily Times crossword, and the clues are a little easier on the whole, but the focus is actually it's a synthesis of all the articles in each issue. You know, a little nugget that you plucked from after reading the article that's not so much a comprehension test, but more just like, oh, interesting. Like, at least that's my goal when I make these. So yeah, consider
Absolutely.
checking these out. They're in the print editions.
Absolutely. Yep. And let's look, come on, we're 2/3 of the way here. Let's bring this one home because people are saying, I can't get that last one. So, and you know how I was with it.
Should we take a peek at it now and really, really let's get a bunch of crossers so it's clear as to what it is.
Oh
Let's
my
take a peek.
goodness. We're really in it now. We have 2 pieces that we need to think about to get the answer to 50 across.
64 slash, again, it's a common convention. This means read these two together. It's like a cross reference. They just
Right.
happen to be right next to each other. And
And
others. What are these
which is-
examples of?
It's a plural, usually.
Yes.
Right?
Indeed. Mhm.
That's where we're going with this, right?
Usually it's for like a bad clue. It's like TS and others, and the answer is
Yeah.
It's like
Exactly, which we don't like. Freak Lunchbox says, watch Sam solve Sam's puzzle. Connor
Sam's watching you guys. Sam's having a lot.
That's right. Connor Magnier says 38 across his TV ad.
TV ad, nice one.
Right.
TH gets us here. The Vietnamese figure.
Anthony Yo and Marilyn Johnson agree on fidget. Anthony also got one that I needed to look up. 45 down is songs.
Is Trey songs. I was so excited to put Trey songs in a grid, you guys.
That's also very you.
Exactly. I love injecting, some modern music where I can.
Exactly.
I won't talk about what Trey songs is in my music library. There might not be any. I was just excited about Trey.
But it is a debut, right?
It is a debut in the crossword puzzle, and hopefully easy enough to infer. And I mean, who doesn't love a good Z? Let's actually. It's so funny because this bottom left. We'll check out the bottom left after it's filled. But like, this could have just been songs with an S. I just out of curiosity, I was like, wait. Can we do songs with a Z? Are there other options here? And it actually, with the Z, made for the best possible fill. I'm really excited about having an answer like this one.
When I filled that out with nothing else there, I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be Suez, but but thankfully the boat is gone now.
Exactly.
But a Jeopardy basically is a quiz.
Is a quiz, indeed.
And that's a nice high Scrabble count word.
Yeah, it's a word like, I mean, I guess I made the puzzle, you're the one solving it. But I guess in my mind, like, I remember from solving puzzles myself that when you think an answer's quiz, like something Scrabbly like quiz, you're kind of in disbelief. You're like, nah, quiz can't go there. Like, there's a Q and a Z. Q's the second to last letter. Like, it can't be quiz. But check some crossers. It actually is.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that added for some fun.
Occasions for roasts for short. Now, this one is not a theme answer, so
it's plural too.
Yeah.
Throwing that ass. Yeah. No trickery on this.
Makes it a plural. I'll tell you, it's got to be one of my favorites. Barbecues.
BBQs again. BBQs. Quiz songs. I don't know. I had fun with this part.
Absolutely. Laura says 42 down has her stumped. Maybe we can help.
Oh, yeah, this one was a nice bit of trickery. It's, again, just playing off an idiom. It's not, you should not read this as one-on-ones that you might have with your manager in corporate America or basketball playing.
It's more like one on maybe the ones column when you're adding.
I was thinking ones like dollar bills.
Oh.
So that's why this is stylized the way it is it's actually looking for, again, part of, just becoming a better solver is, again, just stopping at those clues, even when they don't have question marks, when they just look a little weird like this, that quote, those subtle little quotations are your key that this isn't supposed to be read as, okay, one-on-ones or meetings. This is one. What is a way to write one on $1 bills, for instance? It's basically each of those words is unum indeed.
Very good. I'm sorry to be a nudge about that.
Oh, it's okay. But I mean, I will bother you about 46 across. We
Okay.
kind of need the square.
Well, I would say it's an O, nudge.
Okay. How about that?
That was where I was going with
bad.
that one.
I know.
We have so many guesses in the comments, Sam. Can I read some of them out?
Please
Let's
bring
go
it
with
on
this.
home. I love
Let's
this.
go. Marilyn Johnson's got 48 across, which is sun.
Sun, excellent, especially if you're from the Southwest. Hope
That's
that was
right.
easy enough to get.
Kay Heldman says 66 across is Tahoe.
Is Tahoe. We're moving a little further north.
That's right.
With a geographic name.
Bruce Giordano 663 is Hicks.
Is Hicks or Bumpkins?
Bumpkins, right? Vikram Baum says 58 across is genre.
Wow, we're just like throwing these in. I mean, and just for the fun of it, check our crossers. I mean, RKO, they made, King Kong, Citizen Kane, Pioneer
exactly.
Film Noir. Then this talk.
That's an interesting clue. Hyphen talk is the answer also has to be a suffix then if we've got the hyphen in front, and ease is a good synonym for talk, as in Japan ease, Chinese.
Exactly. I was thinking the direct substitution with like Yoda talk, Yoda.
Right. Yeah. Crossword ease.
Crossword talk.
Tyler James Young is saying, well, you'll need 64 across and 65 across first. Yeah, we're going to.
Those. What's a French holy title? Like
Saint, ST, but in French it would be STE.
Like Joan of Arc was a saint.
Right. Saint Jean d'Arc. Laura Brown says 56 across is Borg.
Is Borg. Iceborg. That was new to me. Clue. That was just, hey, stumbled.
Iceborg.
Yeah.
That was great.
Nice.
Billy Haas with us and says 65 across is PBR.
Is PBR, cheap beer choice for short, is
I had
PBR.
to ask someone about that because I'm not a beer drinker.
Yep.
Let's see. Kay Heldman says 53 down is Depp.
Is Depp Pirates of the Caribbean?
Johnny Depp, right?
Jack Sparrow.
Laura Brown and Vikram Baum agrees. Laura Brown says 51 down is Lout.
We've got a Lout is a hooligan. We've got our hooligans and our bumpkins. And then we've got our crossword dumb's favorite city, which I was surprised to find a fresh clue for. I don't know. Roughly halfway between Cleveland and Buffalo. Hadn't seen that before.
Got to be Erie.
That is Erie.
New York.
So should we check 50 across? Or are there more guesses for commenters? We'll follow your lead.
Well, a lot of people, Billy Haas got it. Okay. Tyler James Young says, like in the wordplay movie when one across was Zola-esque. I remember that moment. I was actually there, and I remember Trip Payne filling it out and like at the big boards and going, "Oh my God." Totally out loud.
I don't know if we've ever been over this, but I had never seen wordplay until I was 1 year on this job full time.
Wow.
I got into crosswords on my own. Yeah, I'd been meaning to watch it for years, and it was awesome. Watch wordplay, you guys.
Laura Brown asks, "What's a nudge?" A nudge is what I'm being when I tease Sam.
Me, I'm a nudge.
A nudge is somebody who pushes people in a way that's kind of irritating.
Or when Deb has to rightfully pester me about deadlines, that's being a nudge in a good way.
I do. I am a senior staff nudge.
I need to be pestered about deadlines.
That's okay. We've got genre. Kay Heldman and Anthony Yo say that 55 down is Leia, Princess Leia.
Leia, the noted leader of the resistance with a capital R in.
And we're in the kind of days where I read that clue and I was thinking, which one? Moving right along.
We've got 50 across. What is going on here, Deb? What do you mean? An abbreviation and a beer brand and others do these have anything in common? I don't know.
I don't know.
We're going to find out. I must have messed up.
I'll bet you they do. I just don't know how. We've got a lot of people who are saying who have got it. Let's see. Where are we?
I'm jumping around.
Tyler James Young said, never heard of Iceborg, but it was nicely inferable. Karen Gunsel has 50 across. Should we shout it out?
Let's do it, because some of these other clues left are hard. We're gonna need some letters for them. What do we got, Deb?
Well, Karen says it's blended family.
It's blended family. So like in one context, like, a family, two singles with children, have stepchildren. So what in the world is going on?
Well, the people who have got it are saying that you add together 64 across and 65 across and add the word others at the end. So you've got stepbrothers, which are part of a blended family.
STEPBROTHERS in the clue. So again, think of this as just like a lead-in to, like, your actual clue here is stepbrothers, and honestly, it kind of needs an EG. It's just one meaning of blended family. Just, you don't want to add an and others EG when EG isn't actually part of this. You had to waffle over all these fine points. But yeah.
Laura Brown is saying not being American makes these a little harder. I think that's a really good point. I think the New York Times is aware that we have a lot of international solvers. The origin of the puzzle, though, is in the United States. So the majority of clues will be United States references, much in the same way that British cryptic crosswords have, British footballers and politicians that we might not know. So, but again, it's the same thing. The more you do these puzzles, the more familiar you get. And I think it's nice because I love learning about other cultures. So even if I don't know it, even if I have to reveal it in a cryptic crossword and learn a new term, I enjoy that.
I have to do that plenty.
Right. Anthony Yo says 40 down is bead, B-E-A-D.
Well, how does that make any sense, Deb?
Well, if you're sweating it, you would sweat a bead of sweat. That's the unit of sweating, I guess.
Unit of sweat, if you will. So indeed, this is, again, just another trick. Like, sweat it is its own idiom, and maybe could have put a question mark, except this is so literal. We're just looking for the it in the clue. What do you sweat? You sweat a bead of sweat.
And yet sweat it is a phrase, usually preceded by don't sweat it.
Exactly.
Now, I loved 47 across's clue.
Thank you. That one, I almost didn't use that one.
Oh, what a shame if you had changed it. First of all, this is where my brain goes right away. I know it's misdirection because we've got that question mark, but I saw it as one word. So my first thought went to my car and the dipstick you use to measure the oil on your car. Mm-hmm. But then I realized it's two words. So we're not looking for a dipstick, referring to your car. We're looking for a stick that you literally dip in the water, and that stick would be an oar.
It would. My goodness, we need fresh clues for oar. I always felt like I was scraping the bottom of the barrel there. That one took a while. That might have been one of the last clues I came up with.
Karen Gunsel got that one too. Vikram Baum says 41 down is ad reps.
It's ad reps, ones with spots as in ads to fill. Also, not to forget our TV ad there. Sorry to those of you who care about dupes. I just don't. So
Will Shorts has his own philosophy. He doesn't think that that's really a duplicate because, and this is just what he says, it's not a duplicate because it's not duplicated in total. So you don't have ad reps and ad reps in the same puzzle, which would be unfortunate.
Exactly.
Neville Fogarty, on the other hand, who is a troublemaker, says BEAD is a dupe of TV ad. The ad is a.
I wish I had caught that one. Thank you, Fogarty.
Billy Haas is saying his friends and he have started with Tuesdays in the beginning of the pandemic, but are up to Wednesdays and breezing through as of late. Good for you, Billy, and good for your friends. I think that's an awesome way to approach it.
I was just gonna say big, huge +1 to That just makes my like solving with friends together, like working together to go up another day of the week.
That's
Honestly,
right.
that's how I got my friends into crosswords that way back at college.
Yes, you
They were
have.
just watching me constructing puzzles, and then I was like, "You guys, you just got to do the Mondays."
And that's
They
why
all
we
started
solve
doing the
together.
Mondays, and then they moved up to the Tuesdays. So that's why you solve
Right.
together. It's a fun endeavor for you all to get better with. So here's to you. Work your way up to those Saturdays. Well done.
Absolutely. And that's why we like solving together. Bruce Giordano and Anthony Yo say 54 down is flab.
Is flab. And then we've
And
got, oh boy, strong luster with a question mark.
okay, I'm saving that one for last. A lot of people are saying pelt.
There's pelt, bombard with. This is not a trick. This is just
No.
pelt with, bombard with.
Yep.
And then what is fix?
Well,
In
we're
one
going
context.
to do this. Let's do the other one. A lot of people had problems with this one. A strong luster on the surface sounds like we're looking for something that shines, that has a strong
Nothing to do
luster.
with oily skin.
So, well, maybe. However, I was thinking of a pearl, but if you want to think of dewy skin, that's fine.
Dewey's
The
putting it nicely.
luster here, though, is actually referring to a person, someone who lusts. And a strong luster would be a great way of referring to the satyr, the mythological Greek and Roman character who was drunk and lusted after, people.
Not to be
Look at
confused
us.
with Passover satyrs.
Right.
There's a fun theme in the making there. So yeah, we got say, and then fix is spay. One meaning of fix.
I got to tell you, Tyler James Young says, I started solving with friends and now I don't have any friends. Sorry about that, Tyler.
Did the mini leaderboards just derail all that? Well, hope you enjoyed this.
People are saying thanks for a fun puzzle, Sam, and a fun live solve, everybody. Thank you guys very much. Sam, do you want to just take us? I think we pretty much have discussed the theme a lot. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with this idea, how you created the puzzle?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I'd always wanted to do some Thursday Beyond in this case, because it's an April Fool's puzzle. I'd always wanted to do something that just riffed on subtle cluing conventions so that you'd read them and not think anything of them until you realize they're actually telling you do this a completely different way, not per the actual normal cluing conventions. I'd seen there have actually been puzzles done before that have used this with convention. If anything, you can think of this as an homage to one of the late great New York Times constructors, Henry Hook. I mentioned this really excellent puzzle he made that used that years ago. I want to say 2011. That I remember solving and thinking, wow, I wish I'd thought of that. It riffed off just with the, where each answer just followed the letters THE. You had to enter like Thelma and Louise without the thus. It just started LMA. And so I was like, well, gosh, I want to do something like that. And I thought, maybe you can do something like without, but that didn't really feel different enough. And then one day, I just happened to notice that, you can, this is the constructors are weird, freaky people. And, just happened to notice looking at the string of letters that was in itself and said, oh, that's interesting. You can parse that as inits and then the word elf. And, oh, hey, that's another thing I can do with a clue. You can say, hey, that's inits before elf, like in itself. And sure, the period's a little cheap there, but that's how the clue would be rendered normally. Maybe I can build a puzzle out of this. Racked my brain for another one, the in slang thing you ended up seeing here. And the funny thing about this Step Brothers one is that this combination element at the end was dumb luck. I was not trying to trick you that hard, I promise. I just wanted some single word to precede and others, but there isn't.
You just happened to save it for last.
Yeah, there just isn't what, I was trying something. Mothers, I was like, Den mothers, but no, that's DENM. That's not a thing.
Right.
Then I was like, oh my gosh, well, I said something that I can't say on the stream when, and exclaiming my excitement. But I just saw both of these answers. I was like, oh my gosh, that can combine to make Step Brothers. And oh, hey, there's this answer blended family that you could use nicely with it. And we're off to the races here. Let's have fun with this. Got really lucky in that. Notice that the three-letter answers related to the long answers are all symmetric too. There's this one,
Right.
that one, this, and this in the center. So where did I start making the puzzle with all these constraints in the center? With Sammy, of course. Built it out from there, dropped in a few more black squares, and here you have it. I believe I
Priority
finished
to the
in
food.
the top left. This was
Yeah.
my last part of the puzzle. So yeah.
And that Henry Hook puzzle we've posted a link to in the comments, the Restream comments. It ran on April 7th in 2011. And I have to tell you a quick story that I had heard. I think Trip Payne was testing, who was a big constructor and crossword editor, was testing Henry's puzzle, and the one that you were talking about. And as he wrote in the wrong answer, Henry was sort of looming over him. And as he wrote in the wrong answer, Henry ran out of the room shouting, he fell for it.
I never knew that. There you go. So there's some great crossword lore too. Deb is just giving one instance of, the people behind the puzzles. That's why we have these little constructor spotlights. That's why you got documentaries like Wordplay. We really have fun with this, little subculture, if you will. Constructors are weird people, but we like playing around with our words, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler James Young says the link got cut off for him. He's watching via Periscope and can't click on it. Isaac, if there's anything you can do about that, I appreciate it. If not, Tyler, go into the New York Times Games archives and look for the puzzle that ran on April 7th of 2011. If the byline is Henry Hook, you're in the right place.
It's also in my constructor notes on the Wordplay column. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. Check out today's Wordplay column, and I think Sam has linked to it. I just wanted to thank you very much, Sam. This was an excellent way to celebrate April Fool's Day, and I hope everybody else had a good time solving it. I tend to like things like this. I don't feel bad when I'm fooled. I just, like I said, I look at it and go, wow, I can't believe somebody actually thought of this. Anyway, once again, I hope you're having a not too tricky April Fool's Day. For Sam Ezersky and I for the New York Times, this is Deb Amlen, and we wish you a happy Thursday.